What is it? Esports is the competitive playing of what we might call video games, but really any electronic game that is played competitively is esports. Why is esports important? Esports is important to us as investors because of the growing market share. For example, the League of Legends Championship in 2019 had a worldwide viewership of about 106 million people. Compare that to the Super Bowl in 2020, which had a worldwide viewership of about 100 million people. You can see the vast opportunity for engagement of esports participants and viewers for the investment community. How has that market grown over the years? In terms of audience size, it's grown exponentially. In 2012, the worldwide audience of esports viewers was about 134 million people. In 2018, that grew to 395 million people. And in 2022, it's projected to top 640 million people. And it's not just the viewership that's growing, it's also the revenue per viewer that's growing. In 2012, the revenues from esports was about $300 million US. In 2018, about $900 million US. And in 2022, projected to be $1.8 billion US. There's also an infrastructure opportunities in what might be called the path to pro. Well, we have all of the opportunities at the team level, at the professional team level, where you have all of the opportunities for the team owners, the league, the sponsorship, the advertising. All of that exists also for the esports competitors. Think back to when we were kids. We were all involved in countless leagues playing soccer and baseball and hockey. The same exists today in the esports space, where kids are playing competitively at the community level, the high school level, the university level. All those same opportunities to engage with the competitors at those levels and to provide them with the infrastructure they need to have those competitions on their pathway to pro exist for investors in the esports space.
Welcome to another edition of Confidently Speaking with DOC. I am your host, David Shirey, author of the book Rare Confidence, Strategies and Inspiration to Strengthen Your Belief that you can achieve anything. Episode number 21 on tap tonight, and we're talking esports, and more specifically, Lost Tribe's unique take on esports with three great guys you're going to love. We have a terrific panel lined up for you tonight. But before we meet our panel, just a reminder that this is a participatory program. Please continue to comment, ask questions of our guests, and if you could share this video, that would allow the show's reach to keep getting huge and allow us to attract more national guests. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and meet tonight's panelists.
Lenny Silberman is the president and CEO of Lost Tribe eSports, and with over 4 decades of leadership in the Jewish community, Silberman has specialized in capturing teen enthusiasm for sports, camp, travel, and transforming those experiences into lifelong Jewish identity building experiences. He's in many Hall of Fames: Pittsburgh Jewish Hall of Fame, USA National Jewish Hall of Fame, and the International Jewish Hall of Fame in Israel. Lenny served on the U.S. Olympic Committee for 14 years, and during the span of his professional career, Lenny's actions have had a positive effect on the lives of more than 250,000 Jewish youth. Andrew Exler is Director of Content and Strategy for Lost Tribe eSports. A native Pittsburgher, Andrew is also President and CEO of Andrew Exler Consulting. A graduate of Ohio University where he played lacrosse, Andrew lives in Pittsburgh with his fiance and their 2 dogs. Ethan Carlin is pursuing a business degree at Diablo College. He's an award-winning photographer with a strong passion for video games and esports. He started as a brand ambassador and transitioned into the Lost Tribe esports intern role this past June. Welcome to the program, Lenny, Andrew, and Ethan.
What's up, fellas?
Thank you.
Hey, listen, I can't thank you guys enough for coming on the show tonight. You know, esports is booming. I mean, we went, 4 or 5 months with no sports, but don't try to tell my kid or all the kids out there that there was no sports, because they were all still playing esports. And I know there's a lot of people that don't have a clue about it, and we're going to not only educate them tonight, but we're going to enlighten them on Lost Tribe's very unique, very special slant on it. But before we go any further, and in the interest of full disclosure, I have to admit that my son Alex is a current a member of the Association of Lost Tribe. He is an intern, and I can tell you from his involvement that it's been nothing but a tremendous experience for him. I hate to speak for others, but he is my son, so I will speak for him. He's had a tremendous experience with you guys. He's learned a ton, and just he knows quality people when he sees them. I told him that you guys were quality people at the time, so I want to thank you for that. So a couple structural things I want to get out of the way here real quick before we dig into this. So first and foremost, for those that don't know, Lenny Silberman is the founder, CEO, and president of Lost Tribe. Lenny is also an icon up street to those out there who know what that is at the JCC. I don't know if they've broken ground on the Lenny Silberman statue yet, but if they haven't, it may be any hour now. And Andrew Exler is not far behind that at a very young age. Andrew is the director of content and strategy for Lost Tribe eSports. And we're also very pleased to have Ethan Carlin on the show tonight. Now, Ethan is a young man who was also an intern for Lost Tribe, but Ethan is a gamer extraordinaire, and it was really a good thing that we have Ethan on the night so that he can talk about what people his age are doing online and in the world of esports. So, all right, now there's esports, and then there's Lost Tribe esports, and Lost Tribe offers online esports, social opportunities for teens, young adults, free of charge. And they do it in partnership with a wide variety of Jewish organizations. But before we dig into Lost Tribe, guys, I think it's really important that we explore the world of esports first to kind of educate our audience what exactly esports is. Then we'll kind of dive into Lost Tribe a little bit. Fair enough? Fair enough. All right. So, Lenny, let me start with you, Len. I know we saw that gentleman at the beginning tell us, but in your own words, Lenny, what is esports?
In my own words, first, the most important word is thank you, Doc, for having us on, okay? And thank you for giving us Alex during the course of the last 18 months. He's been doing a great job like all the other interns.
You're welcome.
In my humble opinion, esports is fun, it's cool, it's competitive, and it's very social. Just like the gentleman said on the video, it's competitive gaming. People play, people watch. It's sports games, but it's video. There's teams, there's individuals, there's tournaments, there's recreational play, there's competitive play, there's fan bases, just like the Steelers. Pittsburgh Knights is an esports team in Pittsburgh. They have their fan base. It's in high schools, it's in colleges, there's pro leagues, it's international, it's global, and it's where it's at today. I mean, it's just where this generation, especially Generation Z, millennials, it's where they're at. It's where we're here.
I agree. And I just have to share with everybody that I am myself, even at this ripe old age of 98, I'm a gamer from day one. As a matter of fact, I want to share with you guys some of my favorites throughout the years.
I mean, I'm a gamer from the old school, from Pong to television football, which was so realistic, to downhill skiing on Nintendo. I thought I was in the games of the Olympiad till I hit the tree. And then you go into Nintendo's Double Dribble. Man, that stuff was real. You had a shot clock. You had the 3-ball. I always liked working it around and trying to use the whole shot clock. And then DOC from the corner for 3. And RBI Baseball, where you could go ahead and actually plug your own friends in there as your entire lineup. That was always fun. And Tecmo Football, Bo Jackson was legendary in Tecmo Football. You could give Bo the ball and just run around and toy with people for like 15 minutes. They would just bounce right off of them. And of course there was the Iron Mike Tyson punch out. And there was the rare occurrence like here where the little dude who would knock out Iron Mike. Only in video games, right? No doubt about it. Now, NHL 92, 91, 93. I had a move where I would come down and tuck it into the corner. They couldn't stop me. People would be like, you can't move that, use that move, DOC. And there was Madden football. I must have played Madden football for 20 years. And here's Cordell Stewart throwing a touchdown pass to an offensive lineman, Jeff Harding. Yeah, that happens every day.
And they get into the end zone.
Now, I'll tell you, my gaming career came to an end about 15 years ago when my son Alex was 5 years old. He's 20 now. And I was playing a dude online, right? I'm like, my man Ethan, I'm over here. I'm playing this kid Madden football, and he's up by 4, and there's like a minute 30 to go, and I'm driving for the winning touchdown, and he's like a 12-year-old kid from Schenectady, and I hear his mother yell, Billy, it's dinner time, and he's like, gotta go, and he hangs up on me. I'm like, what are you doing, man? I'm like, you know what? I'm too old for this, and I was out, and that was literally the last time I ever played. So now I'm living vicariously through you guys, Ethan and young Alex Shirey. So I have a question for you, Ethan, and you, Andrew, as well. In this day and age, because I was all about the sports games. I don't think I may have played Sonic the Hedgehog once or maybe some Mario Brothers, but I mean, I was about the football games, the hoop games. I loved the basketball games. Some baseball, soccer was pretty good. So what are some of the most popular esports games in the world right now, guys?
Yeah, so I mean, you saw a few years ago with the rise of Fortnite. It was one of the first free-to-play games that just totally took off, and they had a major championship where this kid from Canada, I believe, won millions of dollars playing the game. Also, Call of Duty. There's a tournament this weekend. Actually, they're playing for $1.5 million. So, you know, there's also the sports games, which are slightly less popular now, and it's more of the Fortnite and the shooters.
Andrew, I have a question for you, because I know that you're really in tune to the business end of this. And the revenue growth for esports has just been explosive. What is driving this incredible boom in the esports industry, Andrew?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think when you look at it and look at what the last 6 months have been like for the esports industry, I think the virtual nature, the fact that you don't have to be in person, you can play from anywhere, that's what changes everything for esports. And you've seen the valuations, as the video at the beginning was talking about, how we're looking at probably upwards of $1.8 billion by the end of 2022, which is crazy, because I think back to like when I got my N64, I was playing NFL Blitz. I never would have thought for the life of me I could play virtually with someone on the other side of the world. And I think that's really the biggest hitter right there, is just the fact that you can play from anywhere, you can engage with anybody. There's still partnership opportunities, there's sponsorship opportunities in NHL on the ice. You can still put ads on the boards, and I think it's just a glass ceiling.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And even for the youngsters who are in the business field and the sports marketing world, it opens up a whole nother world of opportunities for those people. And, you know, there's another fascinating element of this to me, and that's that people love to watch others play video games. Now, if you look here at some of these numbers, there's been 495 million people out there that are watching other people play video games. And I guess I'll ask you this question, Ethan, because to me, it's a little crazy. You know, I used to love to play those games, but if you told me to sit down for an hour and watch other people play, I don't know if I would have been down with that. What is it, Ethan, that makes a guy like you want to sit down and watch other people play these games?
Well, over the past few years, we've seen the rise of content creators, and that's who the kids are watching. Whether it's funny moments with their friends in their community, or a live stream to try to win a game, it's entertaining for people to watch. Someone who's maybe better than you, you want to pick up a few tricks, learn a few new angles. It's everything and all of the above.
I understand. So it's kind of like, you know, if you grew up playing basketball and you love watching the NCAA tournament or the NBA, but, you know, you grow up playing video games, you want to watch the best in the world play those games.
It's the exact same thing.
I get it, man. I get it. You know, last year, the largest esports tournament in the world was the Fortnite World Cup tournament with $100 million worth of prize money. Wow. And I want to take a quick look at some of the esports earnings through just the first 5 months of this year. So the average age of the winner is like 24 years old. I don't know. Is he the guy who's home from college still living with his parents? I don't know who that guy is, but I shouldn't make light of these people because they're making a lot more money than I am, evidently. And I'll tell you what, the guy who made the most money this year so far, the top earner is a 32-year-old guy from Brazil by the name of Paulo Domo da Rosa, who goes by the handle of PVDDR. And through just 5 months this year, my man PVDDR has made over $337,000. I mean, that's just crazy. And I'll tell you what, Lenny, I'm sorry. Andrew, I'm sorry. But check out that chair that Ethan is sitting in. I mean, Ethan looks like, I don't know if he's about to take off in a rocket ship or if that's a legit gaming chair. Tell me about that chair, Ethan.
So I got this chair at the beginning of quarantine. I knew I was going to be doing a lot more online learning, and I'm sitting in it for hours and hours on end. It's super comfortable. I'd almost recommend it over an office chair. It's because you can actually go back and recline and adjust it the way you want it. So yeah, this is my battle station here, and it wouldn't be complete without my gaming chair.
So tell me this, Ethan. If I wanted to watch an eSports tournament, is there a cable station I go to? Am I pulling up a web address? Can I watch it through PlayStation? How do people actually watch these tournaments?
So there's two main websites right now. It's going to be YouTube and Twitch. Twitch is a lot more of it's been around for a long time, and that's more of the gaming center. YouTube, you can find a lot of other live streams. But it's mainly Twitch and YouTube where you can go in, tune into the channel. You have broadcasters just like any other sports team, and they're there for the ride.
All right. So now that we have an understanding of what eSports is, I really want to dig into the very special world of Lost Tribe eSports because I really believe in what you're doing, Lenny, and I couldn't be more proud than to be a very small part of it just through the birth of my son, I guess. So tell me this, Lenny. What exactly is Lost Tribe eSports?
Well, that's a great question, Doc. What I can tell you, it's a little secret, but I guess if I say it, it won't be a secret anymore. Lost Tribe eSports really isn't about eSports. eSports is the vehicle in order to be able to bring teens to our platform. It's really about re-engaging and engaging Jewish teens, not only on a North American basis, but ultimately on a global basis, to be able to build community. We want to be able to provide some Jewish content. We want to be able to provide some kids, some information about, hey, if they're interested in summer camps, if they're interested in teen leadership programs, if they're interested in, trips to Israel, trips to the United States. It's a platform in order to be able to build community. I can give you a lot of different stories, and I know I was told not to tell too many stories. But
who told you that, man?
Oh, there's such a long list of guys from Pittsburgh that have been texting me. No stories. When I left JCC Association in 2008, where I was the director of the JCC Maccabi Games, plus a couple others, people talked about 50% of Jewish teens being disengaged from the community post-bar bat mitzvah, except for the Orthodox community. When I got back into the game at the end of 2018, the number was 80%. There's something wrong with the way that this is working. If you're a business, you're going to be out of business. So what we really had a vision, is to be able to bring kids to our platform, make new friends, have fun, learn some skills, but really was about building community. Regardless of your skill level, regardless male, female, there's a whole unit that we're going to be eventually getting into for children with disabilities. So that's sort of the core, at least from the seat that I sit in, of Lost Tribe eSports. For Andrew and Ethan, it's probably going to be a little bit different, because they're actually with the people, they're with the teens, and they see it differently every day. But from 30,000 feet and above, that was really the vision, that I was looking at. And just one last piece of this, it all started in Pittsburgh. Okay, what we did back in the day at the Pittsburgh JCC with the basketball program and building that program, and Emma Kaufman Camp and building that program, took some of the same DNA. We needed to go where the kids were at. We needed to make whatever we were doing cool, fun, and competitive, social. We added some Jewish. I did it with the JCC Maccabi games, and we're doing it now here as well.
So let me ask you a follow-up to that, Lenny, and that is, how has Lost Tribe incorporated Judaism into the gaming community, and what are you guys doing to attract even more Jewish teens to the platform?
Well, actually, I'd like to pass it over to Andrew. Okay, that's one of his areas of responsibility, and I think that he could probably speak to that perfectly.
Great.
Awesome. I mean, for us, like Lenny said, it isn't about the esports. It's about the Jewish engagement piece. And I think a little background on my perspective is two parts. One, I'm an OU guy like yourself and like Alex. I'm a sport management guy. So the business nature of sports in general is something that I'm always looking into every single day. I also have a background in nonprofit youth groups with BBYO, as an example, as a youth organization I used to work for. So as someone who once wore the hat of a supervisor who worked with Jewish teens for quite a few years, this was not something that yet existed. And for me, I'm not much of a gamer. That's kind of my little secret as well. I had my Nintendo growing up. I had my Xbox growing up, but I never really could sit still for more than 30 minutes. For me, the inclusive nature of esports is what makes Lost Tribe esports so special. And that's because I think about a lot of those teens that I used to work with BBYO, who weren't necessarily the best athlete, weren't necessarily the ones who were on their school's basketball team, but they could be the best NBA 2K player. They could be the best Fortnite player. They could be the best Madden player. And that even goes further into what Lenny gave a little sneak peek into of young children, young adults with disabilities. There are so many resources out there that anybody could be the best. So that's just talking in general from the umbrella of how we're engaging anybody from the comfort of their homes. What are we doing to make it Jewish? Utilizing our social media team. Ethan is a great example of somebody who has really taken ownership over our Twitch stream, being able to put everything out into the public eye of what we're doing. We're able to do a lot of esports. We're able to be the cool guys in the space, as we say a little bit, but we also can sneak the Judaism in there. If you go look at our social media and you go look at every Friday around 5 p.m., we have a Shabbat Shalom graphic that goes out and it's tied back into gaming. My favorite one was we created our own player in Madden, and it said Shabbat Shalom on the back of the jersey. He was number 18. And we're able to sneak things in. And then we also feel like we have a little bit of a responsibility. With the high holidays coming up, you can expect to see some education coming from us. We bring in Jewish mentors, Jewish role models from the esports industry and everywhere else to meet with our team to provide some great insight to our community. And we have some big things coming up in the next few months that we'll be excited to release.
That's great. Tell me this, guys. What makes LTE, I'm going to shorten it for everybody out there, Lost Tribe Esports, otherwise known in the biz as LTE. What separates LTE from other Jewish organizations?
First of all, there's no other Jewish organizations that are doing anything like this. Lost Tribe is unique, or LTE is unique. And, you know, our focus is a little bit different, and we're honing in on where the kids are at in the esports space, and then we're trying to engage them and actually build community, and eventually look for those kids that are disengaged to bring them back in, and then ultimately get involved somehow with the Jewish community, if it's with Jewish organizations, if it's going to summer camp, if it's trips to Israel, different pieces of the puzzle like that.
We have a question here from a terrific young man, and I'll pose this to Andrew. Andrew, where do you begin if you want to join Lost Tribe or a team like the Pittsburgh Knights? And that question comes from Devin Newman.
Sure. Great question, Devin. And I mean, I'll start small. I mean, losttribeesports.org. We've got our tournament lineup up on the front page of our website right now. You can register for free. You can start playing with us. Send us a DM on Instagram, and we'll be able to get you up on our live stream. We'll get you going. You can join right now. In terms of a team like the Pittsburgh Knights, who I think is such an awesome example, and being in Pittsburgh, it's a lot of fun watching them develop, knowing that we've got guys like Wiz Khalifa, Evgeny Malkin, who are invested in the Knights, and we've seen them start to grow over the years. you got to start. You just got to start playing it, and you've got to get great. The best gamers in the world are playing 8 to 12 hours a day. Like I mentioned a little while ago, I couldn't sit still for more than 30 minutes to play. You've got to be invested because it is just like the workout regimen of a professional athlete. You have to put the time in. You've got to really be great on a certain game. You don't want to be good on a lot. Obviously, playing a lot is great, but the best gamers out there really pick their niche of where they're great, and they practice every single day, just like an outdoor sport athlete would.
If I could chime in for a second here.
Sure.
This reminded me, one of the things that makes Lost Tribe so unique is we're a gaming community, along with, putting on these tournaments. Is it's not necessarily an official team right now that's playing in these high-end tournaments. You and your friends can sign up for a tournament and participate to win a game of your choice. Right now, we're going to look into other options later down the road, but that's what makes Lost Tribe so special, is we're a community. Anyone can be a part of it, any skill level. You can join in. You can meet other Jewish gamers, which is something that you don't get just playing on Xbox Live. And you should definitely go to our website and join our Discord.
All right, I'm going to throw this question out to the group, and whoever wants to jump in here. I imagine that during the pandemic, that playing video games, how has LTE addressed this situation to keep kids even more connected these days?
I'd love to take this, at least
Sure.
to start. So I joined the Lost Tribe eSports team pretty much a year ago. August 17th, I found an email that Lenny and I were interacting. And really, we look at February as kind of like what our real start was. We were at BBY's International Convention. We did a lot of great things there a few months ago, and then we got hit with this pandemic in March. And we had a decision to make. It was, do we kind of sulk and just scramble, or do we take advantage of being in a virtual space? And for us, the goal was to, one, support the families, do everything we could to keep everybody comfortable in a very uncomfortable time. And then also, how could we find a silver lining in this entire situation? And the joke I've been having with a lot of parents are, pre-pandemic, parents would say to me that my kids spend too much time on video games. I want them outside. I saw someone actually in a Facebook comment mentioned that, talking about, are they on their screens too much? And then once the pandemic hit, we have parents who are thanking us, saying, thank you so much for keeping my kids busy and entertained while we're stuck in a house together. And really looking at it a little bit deeper, it's the world, I think, was able to see the value in the virtual nature of esports, the virtual nature of working from home, education from home. So the fact that we were able to immediately pivot, start offering 3 completely free play from home tournaments per week since March. We've seen our numbers on social media, in our tournaments. Everything has increased. And it's remarkable to now look back to where we were in February, where we thought everything was so great. This hit, we didn't really know what we were going to do. And then that virtual pivot has been really helpful to build out what our next 6 months are going to look like.
One of the other things, Doc, that we wanted to do is we wanted to be helpful to the community, understanding a lot of the challenges that a lot of the organizations were going through. Of course, a lot of the challenges that the families were going through. And one of the nice things that when we decided that we were going to be a nonprofit, I remember a number of our advisors telling us, you really have to be able to pivot and move quickly because you're going to be going down one road, and then all of a sudden something's going to need to change, and you can't take 3 months to make a decision. And I'm proud to say that we were able to pivot very quickly. One of the biggest pivots we made was, initially we were going down, and it was a sort of a fee to play, somewhat of a fee to participate in certain events and certain tournaments. And it was pretty clear once the pandemic hit, that we needed to make everything for free. And that's where I'm sure a number of our donors are watching right now. And without those donors and the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we raised, we would not have been able to continue to do what we did. So it was really a different kind of community behind me, that says, you know what, Lenny, we believe in you, we believe in what your vision is, and we're going to help you make this happen. And I think since the beginning of of COVID, we probably touched about 4,000 plus gamers, one way or another in our various tournaments.
Guys, Manor Raviv has a question, and he wants to know, what platforms is Lost Tribe active on right now?
So we do tournaments on Xbox, PlayStation. There's cross-compatible games, so you can play on all 3. If you join our Discord, you'll get updates on tournaments. If you're referring to gaming platform, then yeah, we do pretty much all of them, including Nintendo Switch for Super Smash.
Other than the obvious Jewish element, just like every religious organization has organizations for their own teens, that sort of thing, is there anything technologically that's different about LTE than some of these other gaming organizations?
Well, we actually have two partners that we work with. A lot of the other gaming organizations actually it's one organization that does everything. We outsource to our two partners. One is Skillshot down in Atlanta, and the other is the High School Esport League in Kansas City. They both do a great job for us. They both provide us with tremendous resources and technology in order to be able to power what we do.
Now, I have a double Bennett question for you. One from Brian Bennett and one from his cousin, Jim Bennett. I'm going to ask them on top of each other, and I'm actually going to also give a little commentary here. So Brian Bennett wants to know, do you have to be Jewish to be a gamer with Lost Tribe Esports? And then Jim Bennett says, to follow up on Brian's question, do you have to be an adult? My Madden skills are – now let me just tell you, the latter Bennett, not Brian, but Jim, I've played Jim Bennett probably 1,000 games of Madden. And, I'm probably up maybe 600 to 400 on him. It's my show. He doesn't have the opportunity to combat me on those numbers. But can an adult play here? Who else can jump on board?
Go ahead, Andrew.
Sure. So to answer the first question about do you have to be Jewish, which is a great question that we get a lot. We are a Jewish organization, but one of our favorite and earliest partners is the JCCs across the country, and similar to their model, they are open. We are deeply rooted in Jewish values, but we want to welcome ourselves to a community who wants to support our mission. That's the best way I can answer that. And regarding the adult, it's a great time to be asking that question. Up until about 2 weeks ago, Lost Tribe Esports was for 13 to 18-year-olds. We are now finalizing our testing of an 18 and older server. We just launched our first test tournament with Alpha Epsilon Pi Fraternity a few weeks ago, and we've got another test happening in a few weeks in September, and we'll be launching for the 18-plus community shortly. So it'll be all around. We'll be able to let you match up with them, Duck, and see if we can get those numbers accurate.
Awesome. Now, when I was doing some research for the show tonight, I came across some very interesting numbers. And one of the numbers that was really eye-opening to me was that of all the gamers in the United States, 41% of them right now are females or girls that are playing. And that number is continuing to rise. I know that, back in the day when I was playing my man Jim Bennett in Madden, it didn't seem to me like a lot of our friends who were female were playing, were gaming. So what has LTE done for female gamers? How are you guys trying to be more inclusive so that it's for everybody and not just the dudes?
Go ahead, Andrew. What do you think?
I'm taking it off. Well, first thing I'll talk about is that was a major component of something we were focusing on. We know stereotypically, unfortunately, it leans towards male gamers, which is certainly not the case. It's probably been 2 months now. We actually launched what we called a girls-only tournament, which for all female identifying gamers. We ended up having over 30 people register, which was amazing, and we've started to see that grow. There's a great article that came out in relation to a partnership we have with Generation Esports about what we're doing to continue having male and female gaming opportunities. My personal favorite story was we had a young girl in Washington, D.C. who actually won one of our first Madden tournaments a few months ago, which was a big deal because not only did she win, she crushed every other guy that she was playing against. In working with her and the staff from the organization that she was in, it was a really exciting moment for us, and that led the charge of everything else that we've been building.
Now, Lenny, I know you for a long time, since probably the 1970s. And one thing I know about you, that if you're going to be involved in something, there is going to be a charitable element to it. Can you share with us a little bit about what that aspect of LTE is?
Well, actually, it's something that we're in the process of developing right now. We're looking at a very special event. We're calling it Up All Night. That's going to have kids being able to game, and we're looking at several different charities, not only in North America but potentially globally. That there's going to be something special that we're going to do for them. I don't want to say too much now, okay, because we're getting ready to make a big splash next month. But I think you nailed it perfectly, Doc. You know me. No matter what I've ever done and what we're going to do, okay, is there's a tzedakah and a tikkun olam component to that, and it's part of the Jewish values, okay, that we're looking at for for where we are with kids today.
Well, right along those lines, Lenny, and I'll throw it out to you or Andrew or even Ethan. In terms of being involved with Lost Tribe eSports, does LTE have a set of core values? And if you do, how are they integrated into your programming?
I'm going to give that to the younger generation. They have a better memory than me.
Ethan, you want this one?
Oh, core values. I mean, we're here to engage Jewish teens, and that's what we're doing. We're always looking for new ways, including our Twitch. We've been live streaming gameplay, kind of giving teens their Jewish content creator that they can look to, and it's all about forming community. And that's what we do with our Discord. That's what we do with every part of our organization.
All right, let me ask you this, guys. Because go ahead, Len.
Go ahead. I just wanted to say, go ahead.
In 2020, my son's 20 years old, so it's really not a concern for me anymore. But, when he was younger, and for every parent, when your kid is online, there's an element of danger online when they're doing things with strangers online, right? So what is LTE doing to facilitate a safe online environment, especially for the younger teens out there?
Well, first and foremost, okay, I can tell you that it's probably one of our top priorities. We spend a tremendous amount of time and financial resources just in that area alone. For the specifics, once again, I'm going to Ethan. You want to take this one?
Me and my fellow interns we go in 3-hour shifts monitoring the Discord and our Minecraft server. So any activity that goes on, chatting, voice chat, and in our Minecraft server, making sure that kids aren't griefing each other, we're there and we're monitoring. So we are making sure it's a safe environment for all teens.
And I can tell you that there is no other organization that we're aware of, okay, that goes to that nth degree to monitor that channel on a regular basis. Beside all of our two technology companies, they have their safety protocols in place. The actual game in the computer, the bots, okay, for inappropriate language, bullying, anti-Semitic language, we cut all that off. And then we actually, I think we probably have about 6 incidents in the last 6 months where we had a negative situation, and we were able to track down the kid. We were able to get to the kid, get to the parent with consequences, okay, and in some cases ban a child, okay, for a week or 2 weeks, and then ultimately let them back in. And then once the community understands that we're very serious about the safety and security of our participants, sort of set a tone, okay, at a different level.
Now, Lenny, anybody who you were coaching or involved with back in the day, we all played a lot of ball. I grew up playing, you name it. I coached a lot. I coached Little League. I coached soccer. And, so much of youth sports is about life skills. And I'm going to throw this question out to you, Ethan. In team sports, when you're with people in person, you certainly learn a lot of life skills. Are there any transferable life skills that you've learned from esports and from gaming?
Yeah, the main one being communication. Growing up in middle school, I was a pretty awkward kid. I didn't have a ton of friends, but gaming gave me that outlet to learn how to communicate with it. Just go up to, you could say a stranger, but someone in the game that you're playing with, and communicate with them and talk with them and work together, more importantly, even though you haven't known each other for more than an hour. You're just gaming together, you're working together, and that applies to real life too. Going into high school, that helped me go up to kids and actually make those friends.
It's just like collaborating on a project, and when we're all working from home, I imagine it's the exact same thing.
And absolutely. And another skill would be determination. Like if you have a goal, you want to beat someone in a game, or you want to get that mission done, it teaches you to keep going, and you have that passion for it. And
Well,
that can be applied to lots of things.
We have a question for you, Ethan, from the audience. And I got to start by saying, Ethan, this is Greek to me. I have no clue what he's talking. Like I said, I just played the sports games. But Jeff Cooper wants to know, question for the gamer. Protoss, Zerg, or Turan?
You know, to be honest, I've never heard of any of those things, in complete honesty.
No idea.
All right. Well, hey, listen, honesty is always the best policy. Tell me this, Ethan. What are your favorite games to play?
My favorite games, Forza is one of them. It's a really open world driving game. The game that I've been involved with my friends the most is probably the new Call of Duty. We're up playing that. Quarantine has really brought us all together, and that was the game that we were able to connect to because it has that teamwork aspect where you have to work together as a team to get that mission done.
Now, have you played in like some big time tournaments, Ethan?
Unfortunately, I have not, but if there are any major esports teams that want to pick me up, I will be more than happy to play on your Call of Duty team.
Andrew, what are some of the current or upcoming tourneys being offered for teen for the new 18 plus age group from LTE?
Yeah. I mean, we do a little bit of everything, ranging from we'll do our Fortnite tournaments. We do NBA 2K, Madden. We have Nintendo Switch games, so we're playing Super Smash Bros. We might throw a Mario Kart in there. But then even getting the mobile games, Words with Friends, all the opportunities that you can just play remotely, literally from your couch, from your car. We're covering everything. And then going into the 18 plus space, I don't want to give away too many secrets because we got a little plan to unveil it, but there's going to be some games that we haven't yet played coming out.
All right, we're headed down the home stretch here, and I want to wrap it up with a two-part question. The first part of it is, what is the future of gaming? So before I get to the second part of that, and I'll throw it out to the group here, where do you guys see the future of gaming going and growing?
Well, personally, I can't wait till that VR revolution happens. Kind of similar to Ready Player One. I have a poster up on my wall. StarCraft 2. And I think that'll be the future of everything, whether that's gaming, engagement, education, that virtual reality aspect. Once that booms and that technology is readily available, the whole world is going to change.
Can I answer it a little differently?
Absolutely.
Unless it's the second part of the question about the future of Lost Tribe gaming.
That's coming up.
Okay.
That's the next one. Hold off on that. Andrew, do you have an idea? You're a visionary from everything I know about you, Andrew. Where do you think this thing's going?
Sure, and I was on a podcast a few weeks ago, and I got asked if I think esports is going to pass one of like the 4 major professional sports. And to that, I mean, it's so hard to tell just because it's scaled so differently. But I think the best way to answer it is talk about what are the challenges that we still face in 2020 with amazing technology. We know Xbox and PlayStation announced new consoles that are coming out later this year, but a big barrier we deal with in tournaments are lag. It's hard for us. If I wanted to play a tournament with somebody in London, there's going to be a little bit of lag time. And for myself and an everyday gamer, it might not be something we notice, but for those pro gamers, a quarter of a second could be a world of difference in a game. So I definitely think the future of gaming is going to be when we can overcome that lag, and I could be playing live Madden with somebody in Sydney, Australia, which I always use as my example city. That's going to be what the future looks like. So we can, I mean, and I don't want to take away the answer of Lost Tribe, but there's going to be a lot of opportunity for gaming once we can get over those continental barriers and crossing oceans.
And I guess I'll throw the last question out to Len. Lenny was very anxious to answer, but we're going to throw it out because Lenny's the visionary, the founder, the CEO, and the future statue. Lenny, what's the future of Lost Tribe eSports?
Well, first I'll go backwards for a moment. One of the future of esports, I think, is going to be a growing presence on mobile gaming. Okay, not just not on a console, but mobile gaming is growing. As it relates to Lost Tribe eSports, we're going to be beta testing in the next several months a virtual synagogue league, a virtual day school league. We, as I mentioned before, we're going to be going into the special needs area. At some point, there's going to be family gaming, no different than, Doc, when you were growing up playing Monopoly at the dining room table. Family gaming is going to be something that's going to be really big. But here's what I can tell you, and I'm saying it as humbly as I can say it, okay? What we're doing with Lost Tribe is going to be the largest program, activity, event in the history of Jewish teen engagement ever. In 10 years, I hope we can come back here and people will say, wow, Lenny, you were right. Because of the internet and what Andrew talked about lag time, last week we were talking to people from a variety of Latin American countries. On Monday, I was talking to, not Sydney, Australia, but Victoria, Australia. Okay, they want to be able to game with us in their junior Maccabi Carnival. The potential is just unlimited. We also have great partners. Okay, one of our largest partners is BBYO. And where BBYO is at right now, they're the largest youth serving organization in the world, not only in North America, but literally around the world and in Israel. We're talking to them right now about doing a global FIFA type of tournament, okay, with a culminating experience in Israel. Throughout my DNA of my career, all roads lead to Israel. And what we want to do, once we get out of the virtual and we have more in-person gaming, because that's really what the heart and soul of Lost Tribe was, is let's get these kids together, let's be able to engage, let's be able to build community, okay, and then ultimately, let's get these teenagers over to Israel, let's get these young adults over to Israel and have that experience as well. Thank God we have great donors. And if you're not a donor, give me a call. Maybe you could do something to be helpful, but at the end of the day, this has just been incredibly fun, exciting, challenging, and very, very rewarding.
Well, you guys have been awesome guests. I mean, in the last 48 minutes, I have learned a ton. I guess one of my last questions for you, I do have one more after this, but my next to last question for you is there anything else that I neglected to ask you guys about that you want the world to know about Lost Tribe eSports?
Well, one of the things that I lightly touched on is our Twitch channel. And we're live streaming our content, our tournaments. We're trying to give teens that professional feel that they see with the tournaments that are worth millions of dollars. We're having shoutcasting. We're also just having community sessions where we invite teens on to play on live stream, which is an experience that even with famous content creators, you never get the chance to do because they're too big for you. But we're offering that experience. And in the future, we're going to be highlighting other streamers in our community through our Twitch, and that's going to be a great opportunity.
The other thing that I want to mention is that we can never have enough interns. Really, this intern group that we had this year was just off the charts phenomenal. And there's always opportunities for them to come in and engage and learn. And as I'm sure Alex told you, it's not getting, coffee or filing or, just doing odds and ends that are not worthy, but this is real life, real stuff. These guys and girls have been incredibly helpful to us. And that's one area that we look to grow in. And the other thing is that in the parent realm, because, there's a number of parents that just don't have a clue. We did a Parent 101 type program. We see doing that. We do see some things, where we're going to be able to engage grandparents so they can get to their grandchildren and the parents can get to their kids. So the future is very, very bright. We're very, very excited. And I'm very fortunate to have a great team of young guys like this and an army behind me, that works with Lost Tribe.
No doubt. And I will say this, Lenny, they're very lucky to have you as their leader. You're good people, and I know that you have all of these kids' best interest at heart. Where can our viewers find you guys online, and how can they get involved?
Andrew?
Sure. Well, our website, losttribeesports.org. We have our September slate of tournament registrations up there right now and posted. Definitely find us on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitch. We're on all of them. We're on YouTube. But really, Instagram is going to be your best place to go. If you have questions, you can DM us and you'll get a response pretty quickly. You can follow along, find out what tournaments are coming up. Like Ethan touched on briefly about Twitch, streaming the games has been a major change for us in the last 2 months. And that's due in part to Ethan and the intern team that we have. So I appreciate Lenny throwing that little intern plug in there. If you are watching and you are looking for a great opportunity to work with a great organization, or you're a proud mother, father, grandmother, neighbor who you have someone young in mind, have them contact me directly at andrew@losttribeesports.org. Would love to talk to them. We got some great opportunities coming up, and we want to do what we can to develop the next generation. So we're doing it in more than just gaming.
Really awesome stuff, guys. I can't thank you enough for coming on. You've been great guests. It's been a great show. I'm going to remove you guys from the stream, but I don't want you to log off. I'm going to stick you into the virtual green room where my virtual assistant has some virtual snacks for you, and we're going to chat for a minute after the show. So don't go anywhere, but I am going to remove you from the stream now. I'll see you in a couple minutes.
Thanks, Doc.
All right, thank you.
Wow, that was great stuff. I may have to play a game of Madden once we log off tonight. All right, just want to share with everybody what we got going on next Wednesday night. You know, in the age of COVID, home is more important than ever. Where you live, we're spending more time in our homes than ever before. And the real estate market is booming if you're selling a home. If you're looking to buy a home, from what I understand, inventory is scarce. And we're going to dig into the real estate market in 2020 in the age of COVID with three absolute superstars in the real estate industry. Jeff Stepinski here in the city, Tina Cicero out in the suburbs, and then my man David Munt down in South Florida. I mean, if you're looking for a luxury home in South Florida, I mean, his name is the only name. David Munt is a superstar down there, and I cannot wait until next Wednesday night. You guys are awesome. Thanks for always being part of the show. Thanks for our panel tonight, and we'll see you next week. Huh?